Jack Grealish to Man City, 100 million. What are your thoughts on that?
Good move for Grealish. City get an excellent player. Aston Villa get a buttload of money, some of which they've already spent on Bendia and are about to buy Bailey as well. But
This
that's
is
just
30
a
million
ridiculous
though.
price. That's just a ridiculous price.
100 million.
100 million.
Is it worth it?
I don't think any human in the world is worth 100 million, let's be honest.
Because they're priceless.
Because
Well done, Omar. Well done. Because because human life is unquantifiable.
Mm.
Yes, well done.
Um,
That's the right answer.
Honestly, he's a very good player, and I would take him at Chelsea for 100 million in a heartbeat. I'll be honest.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
Not the response I was expecting.
No, I think any team would take him for 100 million. Surely, he starts for Madrid. He starts for Barca.
He didn't even start for England. I know
just
that's I
Southgate,
know
bro.
I know that's Gareth Southgate's tax, but like if he's really that good, okay, I'm gonna be honest. He
Mm.
doesn't start for Barca. He can start for Madrid because we got Vinicius Junior, but like I don't think he starts for Barcelona.
Man, he starts for Barcelona every single day of the week.
I don't think so.
They've
He's not that good.
he's
not that good.
really really good. Honestly,
Okay, so is he better than when like Gareth Bale went to Madrid for 100 million?
no, he's not that good.
He's not as good as Gareth Bale.
He's not as good as Gareth Bale in 2013. No.
Then he's not worth 100 million.
No, that's literally what I started off with. He's not worth 100 million.
But you take him for
But I
100
take him
million.
100 for 100. I think any club would take him. For
Sorry,
100
I like
million.
I just don't understand the logic here.
You're getting a great player.
So you'd overpay for this player.
If overpaying for him meant that we're not gonna spend 30 million on a B class player, then sure, why not?
Why are you spending 30 million on a B class player? Just don't spend.
Okay, that is the problem with City. They don't need to spend. But if a club like Tottenham came in, they really could use someone like Grealish who would start every game, who would be their best player. Assuming Kane leaves, of course.
We're better than Son.
The thing about Son is, right, he's
Inconsistent.
peaked.
He's 27.
He's older. I
28.
think he's 29. Wait, let me just search this. But
Hyung Ming, you are getting old,
he is old.
son. But wow, okay. If he's 30, he just signed like a
He's yeah.
equivalent of a super max contract.
He's 29.
He's 29. Wow.
Mm.
Grealish is 24,
25, I think.
25.
Yeah.
That's not too much.
No.
I know that's 4 more years, but like
But they're not similar players at all, though. That's the thing. Grealish, I think, can last longer than Son, and the reason I say that because he's a lot more creative. He can play that final through ball that Son cannot play. Son is more of the guy who's gonna run in behind and latch onto a pass and
yeah.
finish it.
Okay.
Grealish is the one to find that pass, out of like completely nothing. Thin
See,
air.
when you say that, I
Mm.
don't think he starts for Madrid.
Bro, you have
Wh-
like 3 players.
Where is he gonna play? Is he gonna play instead of Cruz? Is he gonna play instead of Modric?
He's not a central midfielder.
Yeah, but like he's not. He does play in the central midfield as well.
He
like
plays
attacking.
central, but he's not defensive or even
Yeah.
in the middle. He's
Central
attacking.
attacking.
Yeah.
But he plays on the left wing.
He plays on the left and then he drifts
I
inside,
guess
yeah.
because of Vinicius, right? Like, assuming Hazard's injured.
Assuming.
I mean, that's
Safe
like
assumption.
the default, right? Get well soon.
If I'm being honest, the most similar player I can think of to Hazard in the Premier League is probably Grealish.
Much slower though.
Slower, yes, much slower.
I see the similarities,
Mm-hmm.
but all right, just good for him. But
Good for him.
You
City. Let's move
City.
on to City. 100 million for a player that you've already got 2 or 3 of. You've
yeah,
got
so
Foden,
like
you've got De Bruyne, you've
we're-
got
yeah,
everyone.
my exact point,
Yeah.
right? Like, you think of this,
Uh-huh.
and Foden's still finding minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling barely played because he was benched.
Mm.
So is Sterling just finished now? Because there's still Mahrez and Bernardo Silva.
Exactly.
The-
Ferran Torres coming
Ferran
through as well.
Torres is just chilling. He's 22.
Mm-hmm.
Foden's like 19, 20.
The funny thing is, right, Foden started like most games. Sterling never started. Grealish started all games. And in the Euros, you saw the reverse of that.
The
Sterling
reverse,
was
yeah.
starting every game.
So like, what happens now? Like going into the new season, does Pep start? What's it called? If they sign, does he go with Grealish, Foden, and then I'm guessing De Bruyne?
Listen, he's Pep. He's gonna play all three. He'll play one, and then next game he'll play the second one. Next game he'll play the third one, and he's just
And
gonna rotate.
he'll ruin our fantasy Premier League.
Oh, that's very true. That is very true.
That is very,
But no, Grealish is a fantastic player. But City are once again spending money on someone that they do not need.
So what do you think? Like, if City managed to sign Kane as well,
Mm-hmm.
can I go on that like whole we don't have enough money rant? We have no money. The prices they're asking is too much, because of the pandemic. It affect us all. You know, it hurt the other clubs. It hurt us. Before we were gonna spend 400 million, but now we can just spend 300.
Oh my god, my word! Pep Guardiola, mate, what a legend! Lost the
We will
Champions
never
League
replace
final,
him.
so we cannot replace him.
But we will bid 160 million for Kane.
We'll try
Fake
to-
news, but like
Mhm.
we'll bid 100 million for Grealish and 100 million for Kane.
Grealish definitely starts for Real Madrid, man. What are you on about? Who's better than him? Hazard's injured all the time.
Okay, if Hazard's fit,
Okay, I still think Grealish starts.
he came into preseason without a tummy.
That's true.
He
That
came
is true.
he came in preseason,
Hazard, what did you do, man?
And,
We
like-
need to know.
no Burger King at all,
Yeah.
no McDonald's, nothing. Like
No.
I feel like this guy is taken serious, like, you know, because like he was injured in the Euros
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't force it. He
Yeah.
was not like critically injured.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like
Slightly
injured, and he was like, I'm not gonna take any chances.
Yeah,
And he just took a break.
that's
And
the right thing to
what
do.
what I had in mind is like he's probably preparing himself for the next season, because not only that, but after this season, next year
Mhm.
there's the World Cup.
Yeah.
So he's probably thinking, you know, slightly ahead.
The thing about Hazard is, right, I was watching this interview of John Terry just like a few days ago, where he was saying this guy doesn't train at all.
That's literally been
Yeah.
everyone's comments.
Yeah.
That's what Fabregas said. That's
Yeah.
what Mourinho said.
He doesn't train, and then every time a match day would come, he would just, run the show, and everyone's like, okay, you know what, you don't need to train.
You don't need to train. Yeah.
I think what happened when he went to Madrid, he saw all the superstars. He had no choice but to train,
To train.
and that resulted in
You know what?
injuries.
I'm gonna say something.
Mm-hmm.
With Zidane, I understand, because Zidane, he pushed everyone to their limits in terms of training.
Mm-hmm.
However, Ancelotti, he's more of an old soul, a
Mhm.
softer guy. He's more
He's more about the players expressing
players
themselves.
expressing
yeah.
themselves. He's more easy with the players, talking to them,
Mhm.
managing them. Like, you know, if someone's not playing, he keeps them happy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I feel like this kind of might help Hazard, because he's gonna come and Zidane might been a little hard on him.
Mhm.
Okay, because like Zidane's like a no nonsense guy, right?
Yeah.
It was like, Gareth, you're not playing, get out.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play golf instead of like focusing on football,
Yeah.
get out.
Yeah.
It was very simple with Zidane. It was like, I don't want any, like, you know, nonsensical
No
behavior.
nonsense.
Like, you come, you play football, you win, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. You have to work hard for it,
Yeah, it was like, this is a formula, no favorites, no
Mm.
nothing. Marcelo, you're playing bad, bye. Mendy
Mm.
in.
Yeah.
You know, like, Marcelo's been like there for like ages, right? Didn't hesitate at all. Okay, same with Carvajal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're not playing well, you get out. You know, whoever it may be. But what's it called? Now that he's gone,
Mm.
I feel like, Hazard might have like a, hey, you know what,
I have a chance.
I have a chance, and like Ancelotti might be like, hey, we can do it together. You
Yeah.
know, we're like, because today Fabrizio Romani,
Mhm.
he said that like Hazard's thing,
Mm.
all the like news about him leaving have been squashed.
Yeah.
So I would guess in the camp of Hazard and in like Ancelotti's camp, they'll have like a goal now. We
Mhm.
got to make this guy work, and they're
Mhm.
gonna probably really, really focus on him.
Mhm.
More so just with like the personal skills as well, not just his physical fitness.
Yeah. See, the thing is, right? I think every manager has to try and get the best out of his players.
Yeah.
And Zidane had a certain method that worked when the likes of Ronaldo, Benzema, Kroos, Modric, the core group was there. And then when this core group is now starting to, leave, become old, there's a newer generation coming through with the likes of, Hazard and Vinicius. It just doesn't work,
Yeah.
It's not the same. You look at Mourinho, you give him, big hard men at Chelsea, at Inter, Chelsea again,
He'll
Madrid, he does
he'll
well.
deliver, yeah.
You give him the
a
younger
younger
generation
generation,
at
and he
United and
struggles.
Tottenham, and he struggles.
Yeah.
It's just how it works. And yeah, that
No, I agree. And the signing of Ancelotti as well. Since we're still like on this one point,
Mhm.
it's been like a very political signing. It's
Mm.
just been like, Ancelotti won't say anything.
Mhm.
He'll keep his mouth shut. He'll
Mhm.
just get on with the job.
Yeah.
He won't like complain, right? He knows.
Very relaxed guy.
Yeah, he knows like he's 70 plus, 60 plus. He's doing his thing. He's gonna like manage. Not too many complaints. Not too many expectations.
Yeah.
Right? He may end up getting an amazing signing in Mbappe,
Mhm.
or he might get nothing,
Yeah.
and he has to be fine with both those situations. So for him, I feel like he must be going into the season preparing with what he sees, what he has right now.
Yeah.
Okay, if he gets something better, all right,
Yeah.
welcome. But otherwise, that's gonna be his game plan for the rest of the season.
If you're Zinedine Zidane and you've just won 4 Champions League and you've been competing for La Liga, winning it last year, um, and then you see your core group of players leave. Ronaldo left, and then Ramos leaving, Varane leaving. Other players, aging. You need replacements, and when you're not getting that, you're obviously going to be frustrated. You feel
Yeah.
like you deserve more. You've earned more. You should have like a certain responsibility on you, a certain trust between you and the ownership. And when they're not buying the players that you're asking them to, then that trust just diminishes, and you're going to be left so demotivated.
It makes
So,
sense, yeah.
yeah.
Especially what he achieved with like bare bones.
Exactly.
Like last season, he got very close to winning another league.
Mm-hmm.
Season before that, he won a league with
Bare
virtually
bones, literally.
virtually the same squad because Hazard
Yeah.
was injured all throughout the whole season,
Mm.
and that just like everyone was going on about how Ronaldo and that group of players was just so good,
Mm.
and they had to win.
Mm-hmm.
But now he came back and he proved them wrong. It was like, no Ronaldo, no problem. I'm still gonna win the league.
Yeah.
And even then, not being backed up or not being protected by the like.
Which is the second time it's happened.
Yeah,
not
and then
even
he
the
was
first
like,
time, yeah.
you know what? Like, first time, fine, okay. Fool me once, shame on me. No,
Fool me once, strike one.
yeah. What's it called? No, sorry. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right.
Uh-huh.
So he was like, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen again. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're Ancelotti, just going from Michael Keane and Mason Holgate to anyone.
I feel okay. Let's be honest, right? If
Mhm.
you're Ancelotti, you always knew that was just like, to fill that gap in your resume.
Yeah.
What did you do between 2019 and 2021? And it's just like, oh, I went to Merseyside. I went to do like just chill out there,
Yeah.
see the culture, eat their food. That's it.
Left after a year.
Yeah.
Now they've got Rafa Benitez to do probably the same thing.
Probably it's the same thing.
Yeah.
He's probably just like waiting until something better comes along.
Yeah.
No offense to Everton fans,
fan.
but
I
that
feel
is
for them,
that is the reality.
They're owners. They invest every year. They invest a lot of money. And
Just big misses.
yeah, all of them. Like at some point, you got to stop and think: is our scouting team, is our management just not good enough or something? Do we need to get rid of, that? If you're the owner, do we need to get rid of, the higher ups and the scouting department or something? We got to do something about this.
Maybe they need to come up with an all or nothing documentary to be like, scouting is very hard. Signing players takes so much effort. That's what Tottenham did
Yeah.
virtually, right?
That's
But Tottenham were like, no, signing players
We
are just
can't
too
sign
difficult.
anyone.
We just can't look so much paperwork.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your job.
honestly.
Like,
Honestly.
get it done. Stop complaining.
And I bet you're not even the one who wrote that. Somebody else, some assistant wrote that. You're just signing it.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
but yeah. So in the world of transfers again, Barcelona, they got a lot of free agents,
Mhm.
and they've been gelling in well. Aguero still on holiday,
Yeah.
but Messi
Depay.
still unsigned.
Uh-huh.
Free agent Messi right now. If they don't manage to free up enough cap space, either one of the new signings will be left unregistered for the new season, or they'll just never be able to sign Messi again.
Again,
What do you think about that?
I think Messi's gonna stay 100%.
He's gonna stay, but like
I'm pretty sure
financially, they're so.
I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get rid of players or something.
just
And
sack them and pay them out.
honestly, probably yeah.
Because in the end, they just have to like lower their wage bill, right?
Yeah.
So they can take on more debt
Mm.
and be like, thank you, but no thank you, and you can go,
Yeah.
right, and just pay out players 20 million, 30 million, 40 million,
Yeah.
however much they're due over time.
Yeah.
But they can sign Messi.
Yeah. The thing is, this is what the problem is when a player becomes bigger than a club. This is what the problem is. You should never ever let a player become bigger than your club. There was a danger of Hazard doing that at Chelsea. There was a danger of Ronaldo maybe at Madrid. You know, at certain points, you have to think, like, we really need to stop and think this through, you know. Now Messi's probably at the wrong end of his career. Like, there's only one way to go.
And that's not where it ends.
Mhm.
The contract he's rumored to sign is a
5.
5-year contract
Yeah.
that will like keep him at the club until
Yeah.
he is 39.
Mm.
Yeah, it's half his salary, but like, no matter how good he is
Yeah.
at 39,
Yeah.
like, that's a lot for a footballer.
That's way too much.
I don't think he'll be able to consistently perform at such a high level.
No, even if he can, he's not worth that much.
Mm.
The fact that it's one thing to keep Messi on your team, it's another when he's hindering the growth of younger
That's
players.
what I was gonna say. Like,
the development.
the
new
likes
player-
of Ansu Fati,
Mm.
Pedri, all these guys, Nelson Semedo, and like,
Mm.
not Semedo, so he's gone. The right back, the American right back,
Dest.
Sergio Dest, sorry.
Yeah.
These guys, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna grow up and they're gonna be like, hey, we want more money now.
Mm-hmm.
How are they gonna pay him if they're still paying Messi like,
Or
500k
yeah.
per week?
And then you have to make up for it by signing the likes of Martin Braithwaite and whatnot. Honestly.
Or another great signing they've made, probably their best work of summer, Memphis Depay.
Mm.
I would say that's like a very successful signing.
Yeah.
For free, right?
For
and
free.
for decent wages, compared to all the other business they've done previously
Mhm.
with the likes of Pjanic. No offense, but
Yeah.
he's just been sitting on the bench and earning a lot of money for doing very little work.
Yeah, they need a rebuild, and this summer they've made good moves towards that. It's just the Messi situation that I know he's the best player of all time. Okay, that's great, but are you really gonna stop the future, like the growth of the club, not just the players, the club itself,
Yeah.
just to keep one guy on board? Like,
For how long?
exactly.
How long is this gonna go on for?
And
Like, I would understand if it was like 2-3 year deal,
Mhm.
but 5-year deal.
Especially in the problems that they have, the financial problems that they have. They could get rid of the likes of Busquets, Piqué, whatever,
Yeah.
and then keep Messi. But it doesn't look like those guys are on the way
Those
out.
guys aren't going anywhere
Exactly. So you're keeping
either.
all your
In
old.
fact, Busquets and Piqué signed contract extensions just last year.
Mm,
So yeah,
Where do we head from here?
so it's probably not
Yeah.
gonna be anytime soon.
But obviously, from Barcelona's point of view, you can also understand them wanting to keep Messi. You know what a great player he is, but financially, it just doesn't make any sense.
Especially in the long term.
Exactly.
In the short term, there might be some gains.
Yeah.
But like, I guess they'll just have to let him go for free. I guess,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's what my perspective is. Like, in a couple of years, when he's 37, 38, and he wants to go back to Argentina,
Yeah.
they'll just be like, hey, it's your choice. You can go back whenever.
Yeah.
I feel like that will be the likely scenario.
Mm.
Well, staying in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
a club that is selling is a club, managed by Lopetegui, and he is selling Koundé to you.
Maybe. Maybe.
But like, he's on the market.
Yeah.
They need money and they need it fast
They need it
because
fast.
of COVID. Everyone's been
Mm.
hard, so logically, you always go to your hottest commodity and be like, you know what, thanks but no thanks, and we're gonna
Yeah.
sell you now.
Yeah.
So what do you make of like Koundé with the Kurt Zuma swap?
The thing is, I'd be very happy with that move, considering that we're probably getting a better player than Zuma, Personally, I'm not really a huge fan of Koundé. I'm gonna be honest. I saw him twice play against Chelsea, and I wasn't impressed.
That was a
too
great
much.
sample size. I mean, yeah, Chelsea did end up scoring 4 goals thanks to Olivier Giroud.
Olivier
But
Giroud, AC Milan's number 9.
he is a very good what's it called, center back.
Yeah. And the thing is, if he comes in, he's
To be
probably gonna
honest-
be the starter.
To be honest,
Yeah.
he's better than Azpilicueta. He's better than Reece James.
Yeah.
And he's probably more reliable than Rudiger. I know Rudiger had that insane form at the
6 months, the 5 months
yeah,
at the end.
that was insane.
Ridiculous.
If he manages to keep that up, good for him.
Honestly,
That
who's
just
Van
raises
Dijk in this
yeah,
game?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't see Antonio Rudiger getting like skinned in a preseason game now,
Right.
do we? But yeah, he's gonna be like such a great, what's that called? If he keeps improving,
Yeah.
good for him. He's still relatively young in the
Yeah.
game. They're gonna play 3 at the back,
Centre backs can go, like definitely last longer than
Yeah.
forwards as
and Thiago Silva isn't the youngest,
for sure.
right? So signing,
Neither is Azpilicueta getting any younger.
yeah, he's also on the other side of 30.
Yeah, I think he's 32 now. or
32.
something.
So they need a
Yeah.
young center back,
Yeah,
and signing someone like Koundé, I think, would
and
do them great.
Even
He-
Zuma's like I think 4 or 5 years senior of Koundé.
Yeah, he was like 21, 22 like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah,
So, and Koundé's 22, 23.
21 I think, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's in
He's-
his early
he's still young.
20s.
But so I think I overall I think I would be happy with that move. I'll be honest, I haven't watched enough of Koundé. The 2 games that I did see, I wasn't too impressed. But you know what, I'm not gonna go off of that.
I'll put it in a way for you.
Okay,
I'd take him at Madrid.
okay, all right,
And every Barcelona fan will take him at Barcelona.
okay. But you wouldn't take Jack Grealish?
Koundé's probably not going to cost us 100 million now, is he?
Oh, that's true.
The
80 million. That's the valuation they've placed on him. 80 million.
Koundé?
Yeah, Sevilla have asked 80 million, and Koundé is yours.
So 30 million plus Kurt Zuma. Is Kurt Zuma worth 50 million?
No, that's the thing.
That's
so
what Chelsea's offered.
Yeah, so the Chelsea offer is basically 35 million and Kurt Zuma, but there's Sevilla do want 5 more million at least for him.
So Kurt Zuma is worth 40 million.
40 million. But B, Zuma is fighting this move.
He wants to go to West Ham, apparently.
He wants to stay in England. He wants to stay
Oh.
in London. Whether that's at West Ham, whether that's somewhere else, that's up to him. But he wants to basically stay in England. And now the move they're proposing is 50 million for Koundé and Emerson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's being proposed right now. Either move, whether Zuma goes, Emerson goes, I think I'm happy with Koundé coming in because
It's
he'd
like
be
a non-starter
yeah.
for like a
for a number one
for a
guaranteed starter,
yeah.
pretty much, yeah. But yeah, those are the problems. Zuma apparently wants West Ham as well. West Ham want Zuma.
So it works.
Tammy wants West Ham. West Ham want Tammy as well. So there's 2 Chelsea boys heading to West Ham most likely.
Chelsea team B.
Yeah.
But like just looking at the dynamics of the center backs at Chelsea, right?
Mhm.
Rudiger is the one is like the go-getter. He's
Yeah.
the one that attacks the ball
Mhm.
when defending. Thiago Silva is the one that shores the line, keeps the group together. All right. Koundé is another Rudiger-esque defender. I'm guessing like the dynamic of Chelsea would be more suited when they're playing against lower league opposition.
Mhm.
You know, when they're playing against the likes of Palaces and the
Mhm.
Norwich cities, when they really have to get the ball and
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah.
In those situations, playing with Koundé and Rudiger would do you wonders.
Yeah.
But when you're playing in Champions League,
Mhm.
right, they're gonna leave spaces behind because
sure.
eventually what's gonna happen is like when they were playing with David Luiz.
Yeah.
You know, he would go up, get the ball, and they'd be left with John Terry at the back.
Yeah.
And in this case, they'd be left with
Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva at the back.
See, that's the thing though. This does mean probably that Azpilicueta is not going to get as much game time, but I don't think his run at Chelsea's over. I think Azpilicueta will feature, and he will most probably start most of Chelsea's games this season as well. Even if Koundé does come in, and especially the big games where you're going for more, you're lining up a more defensive side, you would be seeing Azpilicueta either play as a wing back or as the one of the center backs.
That's what we saw like last season, right?
Mhm.
Like the roles were reversed.
Yeah.
Azpilicueta was playing at right wing back, and
Yeah.
Reece James was playing center back.
Mhm.
You think, like Koundé is also a fast player.
Yeah.
If you look at the center back comparisons, you know, Koundé is probably a much better version of Reece James, like a much better version of
Mhm.
Reece James. So it kind of fits Tuchel's plan to the like brim, right? They're like, okay, that's an improvement, and I
Mhm.
can push Reece James back to
Mhm.
right wing back, and Aspilicueta can just be like that, person on the bench.
Yeah. What I there's obviously this whole thing with the center backs and whatnot. What I don't understand is what does Tuchel plan on with the midfield, because we only have three senior midfielders, central midfielder. He plays a 3-4-3 with two
Yeah.
central, and there's Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic right now. Gilmore's been sent out. Barkley's most likely out. Bakayoko's most likely out.
Well, I saw him and Bakayoko laughing.
Bakayoko
You know,
confirmed staying at Chelsea.
they were like laughing, and they
Mm.
looked like they were having a good time.
Yeah.
But Mason Mount's been playing quite centrally as well, right?
He still plays one of the one of the
Three
three forwards,
forwards.
and I'm pretty sure he will then, because without the ball, it's not a front three, it's a front two, and one of the three drops, and that's always Mason Mount.
Mason Mount.
So
yeah.
he's, I think, still gonna stay there, which still leaves.
But isn't it like a 5-2-3? So they're like only playing two in the midfield, right?
No. Without the ball, it's kind of like a
Yeah, but without the ball,
Mhm.
one of the wingers, one of the threes coming back anyways, right? But the starting formation is
Mhm.
5-2-3,
yeah.
right? So out of the three senior midfielders,
Mm-hmm.
they just need two of them to play. It's gonna be Kante and someone else.
And Jorginho. That's the thing. One injury to either one of those three names, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, and you're only left with two midfielders.
That's it. They
That's
got
it.
no one else.
That's it. There's no one else. I mean, either one of those Barkleys and Bakayokos. Last season,
Yeah, I
the fourth
feel-
midfielder we had was Gilmore, who's already gone out on loan this
Was only
season.
good while.
Yeah,
I feel, but there's always dangerous going into a season with just like 3 or 4
Of
midfielders,
course.
because
that is the most important
not only
position.
that, but like, what says that Tuchel has to stick with 5-2-3?
Mm.
Tactically anything can happen.
Yeah.
Something can, like, he might be hit with injuries in the center backs. He has to
Mhm.
go to like a back four.
Yeah.
Okay, or like needs to play more attacking.
Yeah.
Needs to play more with the ball.
Yeah.
He needs to go with 4-3-3. He may get figured out. We've seen 5-2-3 and 5-3-2.
Yeah.
With Conte and all these other guys being figured out very quickly,
Mhm.
right? So what's to say, like, all these managers have had the whole summer
Yeah.
to be watching their videotapes, right? And they'd be
Mm.
like, you know what, you gotta press on Kante.
Yeah.
You know what, gotta like not let Reece James and what's it called, whoever the left back is gonna be at that time,
Yeah.
depending on who's on better form, to close them down, right?
Mhm.
Not let them advance.
Mm.
Then just isolate them with 3 center backs.
Yeah.
That's how they figured out Conte.
Why Chelsea plays so good?
Because 5 at the back.
There's 3. They're so close, and then at the same time they're
The
so
wing back.
wide.
The wing back, they run wide, and
And
then
then
Werner
he
to the middle. Oh my god.
My God, my guy lost 3 games against Chelsea in 6 weeks, and people want to tell me that he's not a fraud. Come on.
He's definitely got a big question mark.
Mm.
A big question mark.
I think this season really showed that, you know what.
I think
he needs money.
Listen, huge question mark.
Uh-huh.
Just because, like, he got to the final and everything.
Mhm.
He was facing a very inexperienced Chelsea side.
Mm. Who had
Alright.
just lost the final
You
as
you
well,
look
not
at
long ago.
you look at 2012, right?
Yeah.
All right, those guys were trash, right?
Yeah.
But like those guys were at the end of their careers.
Yeah.
Czech, John Terry, Drogba, like Lampard. They had players that had been playing football for ages,
Yeah.
so they had experience to go on. They had that mentality and grit to go on. How are you getting Reece James and like Thiago Silva, who's just come into the league, and Havertz and Werner, who were like almost terrible the whole season? How are you like letting these guys run over you?
See that Chelsea team? They had a very good team, and then the wheel started to fall off that team. And the team that played in the final in 2012 was probably one of the worst Chelsea teams we've seen.
Yeah.
The players weren't necessarily bad, but it was just that they were at that stage in their career where you're just dipping downwards.
I mean,
right now.
they've peaked like 4 or 5 years ago,
Exactly.
right?
That 2000, I think 8-9 period. That was their
The one under Ancelotti when they won the league, I think that was probably
pre-Ancelotti as well. I think Mourinho to Ancelotti, that whole period, because they reached the Champions League final and the semi-finals before
Yeah.
Ancelotti came. Yeah.
That's true.
But this new Chelsea team with the likes of your thing, Mason Mount, Reece James. There's
Just
not
starting,
I
just
mean,
like
Thiago
literally
Silva's
just-
probably the only experienced player. Rudiger was supposed to be an
Kante
experienced
too.
player. He hasn't played in 3
Mhm.
years or
Yeah.
something. But here we are.
Maybe we are. So like, do you think Pep can just throw money and fix his problems?
We thought he could, but apparently he can't.
Where does it stop?
It doesn't look like it's stopping anywhere. That's the problem.
Until the gajillionaires come.
Until the gajillionaires come in.
Okay.
Norwich City, we're hoping for a gajillionaire takeover bid.
Let's go to the other side of Manchester for a second.
All right.
United, they've done some really good business.
Very, very
Like,
good
I think
business.
over the years, probably their best window since, like, ever.
Yeah.
Since,
I think
since they signed Ronaldo and Rooney back-to-back window transfers. I think since then, this must have been, like, their best window.
I think 2016 was pretty decent as well, with Pogba and Ibrahimovic coming in.
Ibrahimovic was for, like, literally a free transfer.
It was a free
They didn't have any striker.
But he was an experienced guy who actually did very well.
He's
yeah,
20 plus goals and whatnot. Conquered England. But
from sixth spot.
okay, but like also taking into, you know, the long term.
Of course, yeah.
What's it called, whatnot.
Sancho and Varane, what
Sancho
they're bringing
and
in.
Varane.
You want experience at the back, and you also want fresh legs, energy, creativity on the wings, and they've got them both.
What's the best thing is that they've targeted the two right spots that United were like really weak in.
Yeah.
They really needed a right winger. I'm sorry, but Greenwood isn't a winger. He's like
a forward.
He's a forward. He's like a second striker.
Yeah.
You know,
he needs to play centrally.
He's
And once
good in like a
Cavani does retire or something, Greenwood needs to play as a striker, not Martial, not Rashford. That needs to be Greenwood.
And Dan James isn't top quality. I'm sorry, but he's not the go-to guy yet. Right? If he improves somehow, then that's great for him.
Yet being the key word, Abdul Rehman.
I mean, there's always hope.
There's always hope for everyone.
Even for me.
Of course.
I may make it.
I saw you play football on Thursday. Trust me.
Oh,
5 minutes in, Abdul Rehman was lying at the front, and I volunteered to go in goal because...
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. That was like a beautiful moment. I really loved it. I really did. I want to play football again.
I know, right? It was fun.
I scored 3 goals, by the way.
Oh, really? I assisted 1, but that was about it.
Yeah, I scored 3 and assisted 1. So,
okay.
like...
4 goal contributions. Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, you may call me, like, finished and whatnot, but still got it. You know, in FIFA, I would still get
Finisher.
a 10. In FIFA, I'd still take the 10.0
Beautiful.
and the match ball. Yeah, even though some guys scored like 6 goals, but like fine.
I think there were like 7 or 8 different match balls going home that day, but yeah.
Yeah. But for real, like Sancho, I think it's a 21, 22, great signing there for like at least 5-6 years.
Yeah.
For the price, amazing signing.
Yeah.
Like he was valued to be like what 120 million, 140 million last season, and they got him for like 80 million this season. Brilliant work.
Price,
and to be honest, at one point, you know, I was thinking, why don't Madrid go in for him? We need that right wing to be fixed. If we're not getting Mbappe, who we also hope that plays that right wing, we needed someone.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was just hoping that it could have been, you know, if not Mbappe, then Sancho.
Yeah.
You know.
What about Haaland? I mean, not on the wing, obviously, but Haaland coming into Madrid.
Yeah.
Alongside Mbappe.
Of course, why not?
I love FIFA career mode.
Mbappe on the left or right wing. You got what's it called, Haaland through the middle. But I feel like Haaland's
what
more...
a front three that is. Mbappe, Haaland, Vinicius Jr.
3 equally talented youngsters.
Looks a lot like Ramirez, doesn't he? He reminds me of Ramirez.
He does. He's got that smile.
Yeah.
You know, messing everything up and just smiling your pain away.
Hey. Let's not disrespect Ramirez's smile.
That chip.
Come on, that chip. To be honest, he was one of the most underrated players I've ever seen. No one spoke about him really. You think of the Chelsea great teams. Who mentions Ramirez? Nobody.
I think he wasn't there for long enough. Like he was there for like 3-4 years, and those weren't, let's say, the most successful years of Chelsea. They were in that semi-banter era.
I would disagree. 2 Premier Leagues, Champions League.
Yeah, but okay, the Champions League brilliant, but like you know, you saw the conditions they wanted it, right? The Premier League was like on each other side, I think, right? Yeah. So like, he won one, and then they just sucked.
Yeah.
And then they won one. So you understand
and
why.
To be honest, he wasn't really a starter in the final one either.
Yeah.
Matic came in and took his spot.
Yeah,
but he was a great player.
Yeah.
He was a great player.
But going back to Matic, the only place you would say that United need to focus on right now is that holding midfielder, that number 6 role, right? Because they've got they've extended Cavani, so they've got a good striking option.
Mhm.
So I think like one of the top players at United, in fact, they've signed Sancho. They've got Rashford, Marshall on the bench. Not bad for a second option,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a starter, but
No,
I
no
think
way
I
he's a
think I
starter.
think coming off from the bench,
Mhm.
rubbing shoulders with Cavani. He's no youngster, but just rubbing shoulders with Cavani, knowing like he needs to work hard. That will motivate him.
United do have one of the best squads.
I think
Probably I want to say the second best squad in England, especially
would
with the
say,
rise of Luke Shaw last season. You know,
I wouldn't say second best. I wouldn't say second best.
Hmm.
I would put Liverpool ahead of them.
the problem with Liverpool, I'd say, is their midfield. I think their midfield fails them. It's just
Henderson, Fabinho, Keita,
mhm.
Thiago.
One in the three of those names are in the hospital.
For how
Always.
long?
No, as in like they're always injured.
Well,
Thiago's always injured.
Keita,
Keita's always injured. Henderson spent the whole last year injured as well.
Yeah, so I'm
Fabinho's
just,
on the wrong side
like,
of 30 as well. You know,
I'm just saying.
just like Henderson and.
Well, I'm not taking injuries
Yeah.
into account.
Okay.
I'm saying if fit,
Eden Hazard, Ballon d'Or 21.
if if fit, I think these guys. I think if
They're
fit,
very good. Yeah.
I would put Liverpool right above United.
Mhm.
United maybe in a couple of years,
Okay.
because like
Alright, that's
everyone's
fair,
much
yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the signing of
Mhm.
Varane and the signing of Sancho.
I think Sancho is a great signing, but Varane is the real deal.
50 million.
50 million.
Steal, absolute steal. I don't know how no other club was interested.
Yeah.
I have no idea how. Like,
Let's be honest, they probably watched the game against Man City
Man
in the
City and they were
Champions
just
League
like-
and thought, nah.
my honest opinion,
Yeah.
I don't know why Man City wasn't interested,
Yeah?
because they buy literally every centre back,
Mm.
and Varane's better than
No,
Laporte.
They're looking to replace Aguero, you see.
But we cannot replace
We
him.
cannot replace him.
So how are we gonna replace him? But no, for real, like he's
Yeah.
better than Laporte. He's
Yeah.
better than Stones. Okay, arguably his peak will always be better than Ruben Diaz's peak.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Mhm.
So why not? He's experienced. All of these guys are young.
We're not bringing him in like to City for his future. We're bringing him for his experience.
And
Champions
City need
Leagues,
immediate,
World Cup,
Yeah.
Euros final. You know,
Yeah.
he's got it all.
like especially after that meltdown that Ruben Diaz had like at the Euros.
Yeah,
They
Varane
need-
was a perfect signing.
They need
for
someone
City, yeah.
to like assure them and like whatnot.
Just another 50 million centre back that Pep needed to get, and honestly, this would
This was
spent
probably
50 on
Okay,
Ake.
right? Like this guy's like better.
honestly.
Do you think maybe like Varane wanted to start as well? Like that's the thing about City, right?
Not just about starting. I feel like that whole transfer saga 10 years ago, going to United, being like one of his favorite teams or whatever. You
Yeah,
know?
that's also true.
I mean, that
maybe he just
plays-
wanted to
Yeah.
fulfill it.
Yeah,
Because I think Varane was also very done now.
yeah.
Varane was like, listen,
You see
For
Ronaldo
Champions
leave,
League,
you see
like,
Ramos leave. You won everything there is to win in Spanish
yeah,
football. Like, it's
so.
what motivates you at that point?
What he's just not won a Euros. He's won everything else.
Yeah, he reached the final. That was close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And Griezmann missing that pen,
yeah.
but
And I really wish they won the Euro so I could say Olivier Giroud has completed football.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be true as well. Now let's go to some lower league oppositions.
Mhm.
With the mighty Arsenal, they've signed Ben White, also for 50 million.
Mm.
What's your take on that? Like the money's clearly there.
You right?
We
Right.
go in this like topic again, right?
This plays into our last video.
They have money.
yeah.
Everyone has money. 50 million on Ben White. I'm sorry, but like, where does it stop? I'm gonna where does it stop?
yeah.
50 million
On Ben White.
on.
The thing is, I think I was reading this article from The Athletic today, right? And they said that they knew Arsenal were not going to stop to get Ben White, no matter what.
So they just kept raising up the price.
Yeah. There were 5 bids that were rejected by Brighton.
Wow, 5.
5 bids, knowing that we are only going to accept 50 million, nothing less. And they knew that they were going to pay it. Apparently, Chelsea were very interested as well.
But
the
they were
50
never gonna
million-
pay
but
50
the
million
50
for
million
it.
price tag, they said no.
I
we're
mean,
not
that's
gonna
just
go.
30 million away from Koundé.
Exactly.
And I don't think Koundé's worth 80 million either.
No, he's not. That's why they're trying to throw in Zuma or Emerson in there. You know, just bring the price tag down, clear the wage bill. Barcelona, take notes.
That makes much more sense.
Yeah. But seriously, okay, he's a great player, and he's definitely going to be a starter, and he's definitely one for the future as well. He's probably got 10 years in him.
Ben White,
Ben White, yeah.
10 years,
Yeah. The centre backs go on longer than forwards or
especially
wingers.
at Arsenal.
Especially at
You know, when the expectations are
slightly lower. No, but honestly, they've been making the right moves over the last 2 years, I'd say. The signings
I
of
would
Partey, Pepe, those
Yeah.
have showed like intent.
Yeah.
Aubameyang, you know, proven goal scorer. Pepe, creative winger. Chelsea were in for him. United were in for him, and they managed to, you know, beat them for the signing of Pepe. But I just think it comes down to the manager in the end. I'll be honest. They need an overhaul.
I would think the rest of the defense still needs a lot of work.
They've signed another left back, in Nuno Tavares.
I've never heard of this guy.
That's because he's Benfica's third choice left back.
And how is that gonna help anyone?
Exactly. I don't know. That's the thing, right? They make one good signing every year, but then they make up for that by signing 4 like average players.
Yeah, but like, you know, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back to this still, like, you know, the same commentary, right? Like, all these clubs have money
Mm-hmm.
and they're spending it.
Yeah.
All right, but they're spending it on players that probably do not fit the bill nor fit the expectation.
Yeah.
And that does not work out for the club,
Uh-huh.
nor does it work out for the player.
See, the thing is, when you go for a player, you want to get a player who's gonna either play regularly or at least compete at the top level, who's gonna improve your team significantly. He's gonna challenge for a spot and make the other players around him better. We saw that with Tellez, another left back.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw was absolutely average, and then we saw Tellez come in, and Luke Shaw just turned out to be the best left back in England. He's not gonna do that. He's been brought in as second choice to Tierney.
I mean, Tierney is decent. Tierney, I don't think Tierney's a problem. I feel like the other side is much more problematic.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think Tierney is a fantastic player. The only problem is if you're Tierney, you already know that you're going to start.
There's not going to be a push for you.
Exactly. You're not motivated enough. You know that there's no one knocking on the door. You're just going to relax and you're going to just play through. That's not how it works. See, for example, you look at Ben White coming in. He's going to raise the quality of Arsenal's defense. You see Varane come into United. He's definitely going to... If you're
Lindelof, you really have to work much hard. Even if you're Maguire, to be honest.
Maguire, exactly. You need to figure out a way to stay... But right now, Maguire was the one, who was comfortable. And now he's thinking, I'm the number 2 centre-back at the club.
Just like 1 second, stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know how Maguire came in and he was just given the captaincy?
Yeah.
Should Varane get it now?
I don't think so. I think
because he's not white and British.
The passport matters.
But if it were based on experience, I think it would be a no-brainer.
In terms of captaincies right now for United, I think I would give it to Bruno.
Bruno?
Yeah. And I'll tell you why.
No.
United have bought a lot of high-profile, big money signings. Bruno is the only one that's actually lived up to the price tag so far. They were people forget United were 10th.
I remember, and he had a great impact, great season, one of the best performers in 2020. I agree, right?
Mm-hmm. Better than any other United player.
Like mentally, I don't think Bruno has what it takes to lead. He has what it takes to encourage players, but his way of communicating with other players, shouting and everything, is probably not the best way to go about things every single time.
Jorginho does the same and just won a Champions League.
And that's why Jorginho is not the captain.
He kind of is when Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta aren't there.
But they're always there. In all the big games, they were there.
Thiago Silva was injured.
Azpilicueta just stays forever.
Azpilicueta is forever. Yeah. Azpilicueta is Vasquez. They're just permanent, bro. They're not going anywhere.
No, but there's a difference between shouting at every mistake.
Okay. No.
Sometimes you gotta encourage.
Yeah. I know.
Sometimes you gotta bring together. There's not just one action for every solution.
I'm not saying he's the ideal captain. I'm just saying given everyone else that United have, they don't have a single player who I think is the right leader for the team. They don't have a single player. Maguire has his good positives and negatives. Yeah. Bruno has his positives and negatives. Everybody does. I don't think there's a single. Maybe Cavani. You know what? Cavani might be one of the best players.
But
to
I would
beat
I would
them.
think like Cavani's probably there for like a year.
That's the point.
So like you
that's
probably
the
don't.
point.
But like
yeah.
Varane's gonna be there for
That's-
like 3 or 4 years.
Mm.
Varane has achieved literally everything. Like Varane alone has won
Ye-
Varane alone has won more than the rest of the squad put together.
If you're a United player, you see a brand new guy come in who doesn't know anyone, who's never even played a single minute on the pitch with anyone, and he's given their captaincy armband.
Harry Maguire.
Maguire got it at least like half a year into it or something. You know, he wasn't given the
Still.
captain's armband straight away. He had to play like
Bruno
a
was
season, actually.
Bruno was given a captain armband in like one of the games.
Yeah.
I remember.
After like a year playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't instantly give it to Varane. You know what? A year. Let's give him a year, and if Varane significantly.
But then, do you
improves-
take it off like Maguire? Like literally, they're like he's a guaranteed starter.
They should, but they won't.
They won't, right?
They should, but they won't, because.
What do you make of United's goalkeeping situation right now? Because I feel like that is their second point after their holding midfielder.
Yeah.
It has
For
to be
sure.
the goalkeeper, right? And then the right back, I would say.
When was the last time David De Gea had like a memorable game? Like when you think, I remember that game.
You know what
yeah.
my answer is?
What?
I don't remember.
For the right reasons, memorable for the right reasons. I'll just throw in that because there's a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of games
Oh
that
yeah,
are.
like that was understood.
Remember
I mean, I remember the Chelsea game.
the FA Cup semi-final, the
I
three
remember
goals.
the Chelsea game, the Mason Mount stunner.
Mason Mount stunner, Rudiger stunner, and
Rudiger.
who was the third one? Giroud stunner as well.
So yeah,
Oof.
honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember him, even with Spain,
he had that game against Portugal.
where he let 3 in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, two of them weren't. Well, the last one certainly wasn't his fault, but the first one or the second one, the one that came
Second
straight
one,
at
I
him.
think, yeah.
Oof. But see, the thing is, it's one thing just talking about De Gea. Then you have to think about, is Dean Henderson good enough to be United's number one?
Is
Yet he had a great season with Sheffield a year ago.
But the way Sheffield have to
Mm.
play, it's kind of like the whole Atletico Madrid thing. You got 10 defenders in front of you. You have to make a save every single minute of the game. You're going to the game. You're just gonna have to keep
You're
the
the-
ball out of the net
You're concentrating all time.
all the time. But like when you're playing with like such an attack-minded top of the league opposition, right?
Mm.
You gotta switch off, right? You gotta have more of the ball at your feet than in your hands. You're probably passing it with your center backs and full backs. That's gonna take some time.
We're very wide. And then you got
Yes.
Werner.
Werner right through the middle. But you look at like a stopgap signing for Chelsea and what like the wonders it did for them with what's my man's name? Mendy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't working out with Kepa Arrizabalaga, and
Apparently, he was not a stopgap signing. Petr Cech has been scouting him for 2 years.
the more you know.
Yeah.
But
But see, the thing with Dean Henderson, right? United, they are one of the big clubs, but they still play very defensive, counter-attacking football.
how long for though? They can't do it against Norwich.
They can't do it against Norwich, but I feel like they will. They can't, but they will. That's the thing.
But that won't work.
Sir Alex did that for like the longest time as well.
Yeah, but at that time,
I know. I completely
at that
understand.
time, like the defenses didn't regroup to make that back four, to make
Yeah.
that back six. To
There
like,
were lines. There were gaps between.
Yeah,
the lines.
there were.
Yeah, no, I
there were
get-
like 2 bags of 4.
Yeah.
So you could just get between them, and it was
Yeah.
basically the forwards versus the defense.
Yeah.
Now the midfielders are tracking back, the wingers
Mhm.
are tracking the fullbacks.
Yeah.
It gets very intense very quickly. So
Mm.
you cannot play counter attack against a team that's only attacking with 2 players or 3 players
Yeah, for
that
sure.
are going into the game for a 0-0.
As soon as they lose the ball, everyone's running back.
Yeah,
Like, how are you going to counterattack that team?
I mean, it works against Leeds, but I don't think it will work against teams that are fighting relegation.
Yeah. See, Dean Henderson, I would still say is a better fit than De Gea at this point, simply because I feel De Gea, again, when was the last time you saw a memorable game? That's it. He was a great shot stopper, but he doesn't even do that now. He's not the greatest with the ball on his feet.
Is there like another goalkeeper that United could sign?
Who are the available goalkeepers? That's a whole other discussion because we
It's
haven't.
been quite
we-
like, you know, dry for a while, right?
Yeah.
In the goalkeeper market.
There's been a merry-go-round for strikers, for center backs, for
Yeah.
wingers, but
Like for example, you know, if you talk about winger,
yeah,
Mbappe.
yeah.
You know, if you're talking about striker, Haaland.
yeah.
Like Sancho was another winger.
Yeah.
They got him, but like, you know, center backs. There's Koundé.
Varane,
There's like all these
Koundé,
guys.
Ben White, whatever.
Yeah,
Keepers.
Camavinga in midfield. Like you got all these names circulating.
Yeah.
For a goalkeeper, they could have gotten Donnarumma.
Ooh, that would have been a good signing. You know what? Now that PSG have 9 goalkeepers.
But Areola has gone to West Ham.
yes, 8 goalkeepers only.
I would say that's a great signing for West Ham.
Mm.
Now who starts for West Ham? Fabianski or Areola?
I think Fabianski.
Fabianski.
He's just 2-1. He's probably their most important player. We have to be honest. Suchek is great.
Yeah, Fabianski's been amazing at West Ham, right?
He's been amazing for like 3-4 years. Before that in Swansea, he was fantastic. You know, he's been one of the best keepers in the Premier League. He's maybe the best keeper
Consistently.
outside of the top 6 teams
Yeah.
for the last 5-6 years now.
Especially after he left Arsenal, he got better.
Exactly. They kept Chesney, who just
I mean, let's not talk about it. But you look at him, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, Donnarumma's there.
Keylor Navas.
Keylor Navas.
That would be a fantastic signing. I think
signing, right?
one of probably the most disrespected goalkeepers. You know, like
And they're probably getting for like very cheap,
exactly
very very cheap.
very cheap.
But do you think Ole and the group have the guts to be like, we're gonna axe not one but 2 keepers,
Mm.
and we're gonna play someone above you? That totally says to De Gea that you're finished.
I think
That's the message, right? Because you're not gonna play De Gea as a number 2.
yeah.
You have to just get him out of the
Get
club.
him out, yeah. To be honest, if I'm De Gea, I'm thinking about my next move.
To where?
Anywhere. I mean, anywhere. At this point, it just doesn't feel like he has much of a future at United anymore.
Probably just back to Spain, some mid-tier.
Maybe Spain,
yeah.
maybe you know what? Maybe even in England to one of the
Lower league.
mid-table
Leeds
relegation.
probably looking for a goalkeeper.
Maybe. Actually, no. They have Melier, who's apparently been very good.
He's made some mistakes. He's a very young keeper, so probably could do with the older
Experience.
apprentice.
Yeah. But De Gea, the guy
Yeah,
who's known for his mistakes.
I mean, yeah, just be like, hey, I've made so many of them.
Don't
Just-
do what I just study my videos and just do the opposite.
Yeah, if I dive right, you gotta dive left.
I don't want to disrespect De Gea too much. He was one of the best keepers for like 6 years in England.
When he was young,
well, yeah,
when
when he was
United were absolutely terrible.
When 2012 to 2017, 18,
Yes.
yeah. I think 17.
17,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where like the downfall began.
Those 6 years were just crazy.
Liverpool haven't made any moves.
Konate.
That's a great signing, by
Yeah.
the way.
I think we've already talked about Konate in another video.
we have, but
yeah.
since we're going around, might
Yeah.
as well. Great signing, I would say.
Yeah, great
top
signing.
top tier.
Top tier.
They've extended Trent Alexander-Arnold for until
Ta.
2025.
Yeah.
So Ta stays until 2025.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Excellent. Two
Excellent.
excellent moves for them.
Yeah. They got like half of their center back half of their defense.
Sorted for the
Sorted
next
for the
5,
next
6
5
years.
years, yeah.
And then if you've obviously got Van Dijk coming back from injury as well. The only problem with Liverpool is I think wingers, you need to bring in fresh legs.
So like with Liverpool, they haven't really made any signings this year, right?
Yeah.
Except for Konate.
Mm.
And even last year, Thiago
Diogo Jota.
Jota.
Mm.
Those were 2 economical signings.
Mm.
Not really the most extravagant nor
Yeah.
the youngest, up and coming talents, or like these are the guys that you have to go for. For Liverpool's stature, how long can they sustain this for? Because Firmino, he's been like hot and cold, but mostly cold for the last 2 years,
Yeah.
right? Salah and Mane haven't been the most consistent performers, especially Mane. He's looked really worried. There
Out
were
of sorts,
there were
really.
reports of him going back to like the psychiatrist and just like
Oh, really?
going to the physicist, like just being like, hey, not the physicist, the physical therapist.
Mm.
I mean, like, can you check me for injuries? Can you check me for something? Because I just don't feel right. Okay, so he's been pushed to that point.
Mm-hmm. See, that's what happens when you're overplayed.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're overplayed. Like
Because these guys have just turned 29, 30. So
the first season, from those two great seasons Liverpool had, when they won the Champions League and finished at like 99 points, that was ridiculous. But we saw it coming. Liverpool, like their players, Klopp was running his players into the ground.
every day
And
you
we
know
were
the playing 11.
We were so worried in that
Mhm.
2019-20 season when they won the Premier League. We're like, okay,
Mhm.
here comes the injuries, and they never came, and you never see that because 1 month, 2 month max, and you see it happen. And Liverpool, like very luckily, managed to evade all of that, go on a whole year without any injuries, significant injuries or whatever. You're like, wow, okay, well, there's something going on. And once they finally hit, they hit. It was like
All at
dominoes.
once. All at
One
once.
came, and then it all just unfolded. I think they should have learned their lesson from that. You can't have 11 top quality
Starter.
world class players and then 11 absolutely average players. You need to have a mix of.
But if you look at, the squads now, right?
Mhm.
If fit, Liverpool have a very good squad.
That's the problem.
But if fit,
yeah.
and to be fit across the whole year for
Mhm.
38 games,
Mm.
that's definitely going to be difficult for them.
I think it's a fair assumption if a team says to themselves, at one point in the season we're gonna be without 4 starters, 3 starters,
Yeah.
4 starters, due to injuries or whatever, and that's what they need to prepare for. So I don't know. I still think they need a lot more, especially with such an aging squad. There's the recent signings as well, as you just said, Thiago as well. But before that, Fabinho was one of the more recent signings. Everyone's old.
They're all like nearing 30 or above.
Yeah, you got rid of Wijnaldum. That's great. But you still have like, I think 6 or 7 30 plus starters. Firmino, Salah, Mane. You've got Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Van Dijk, and Alisson as well.
Oh yeah,
30.
that's very true. So apart from
7.
Konate,
Yeah, Konate,
Ta,
Trent,
and
Robertson. Robertson as well. I think he's 27, 28
27,
now.
yeah, he's on like the. So yeah, I reckon like Liverpool really need to look for a midfielder
Mm-hmm.
and a striker, because even though I think Jota is a great signing, I
Mhm.
think he'll be playing wing instead of striker,
Mhm.
right? And they really need someone up front who can score goals,
Yeah.
but they've not made any moves that would indicate that they're
It
interested.
doesn't look like they're making any
Yeah.
moves. I think their transfer business is done the way things are so cold for them right now.
I don't think this is going to end well for Liverpool,
Yeah.
because people are going to be wary that, players are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want this to happen, but it is very common for relapse in injuries.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen it like at Madrid for Hazard, right?
Mm-hmm.
That guy's been just going through one injury after another, with Bale as well. And it happens at every club. Last season, they had so many injuries. Statistically, it's just bound that, God forbid, but like, these things happen, right? In sports,
You need to be
sports
prepared
science.
for it.
Yeah. So, and if they have no cover, how's that going to help them?
Very true. Very true. Is there any other topic or team you want to cover? We've done the Spanish Club.
I'd say like, what about Juve? They look very dead. They've been going for Locatelli for the longest time.
Apparently it's more of Locatelli wanting Juventus rather than Juventus wanting Locatelli.
Funny how we were just talking about Liverpool. Liverpool made a contact for Locatelli
Really?
just today.
Oh,
Today.
okay.
And Locatelli said no. Locatelli was like, I don't want to play in England.
Oh, that
Locatelli wants to stay in
Italy.
Italy.
At Juventus
So
specifically.
Juve is like the way
But
to
Arsenal
go.
were very interested in him. Arsenal even contacted,
that's
made a bid.
that's
They
the
said,
reason
yeah.
he does not want to play in England. He probably doesn't want to play for Arsenal either, but he doesn't want to play in England.
Yeah. I mean, you can respect his decision not wanting to move from his house, like from his home, Italy, whatever. There's not much you can do about that. Juve, on the other hand, know that they can probably get him for such a low price, given that he's made it so clear that he wants to move.
Yeah. What's it called? Another player that wants Juve, it's their former player, Pjanic.
Oh, I saw.
But
Yeah.
Juve don't want him.
Juve don't want
You're
him.
very like good riddance. We got like rid of you once.
Arthur's.
Arthur's like a better player.
Yeah.
And what's it called? If you get Locatelli instead,
Yeah.
that's gonna be good points on them.
And the thing is, Barca want Pjanic at Juve as well, I think.
Yeah,
because-
but Barca want to like desperately offload him.
Yeah. I mean, that just goes back to the Barcelona
Barcelona
management. I
management,
mean,
right?
it made no sense to anyone why he was moving in the first place.
Balancing the books.
Yeah.
It was virtually just like
Mm.
selling Arthur just to balance the books.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Serie A champions, Inter.
Mm.
They've sold half their squad.
Mm.
Eriksen's out because of his condition, and it just looks like it's going to be Lukaku and Martinez FC.
Lukaku surprisingly saying he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay at Inter.
I'm very confused. Well, like what's happening there?
I think.
Because everyone's left.
Yeah.
So is this going to be him and Lautaro?
I think it's a good idea for him. I think he's gonna play his best football in Syria.
So why don't you just go to like Juve?
And what, be benched by Ronaldo or Dybala?
Dybala's benched already.
By Ronaldo?
Yeah.
The third place to Dybala and Ronaldo. No, I feel like Inter's a good move for him. I'm sure he's settled there now. He's happy. He's clearly happy because he's saying he doesn't want to move. You know, he was linked with two of the top clubs in England. He said he doesn't want to move.
You know a club that would be insane for Lukaku? PSG.
Okay.
You see it right.
But Icardi's saying that he's staying.
Icardi's trash.
Icardi's trash, but he's
I'm
staying.
sorry, but like how this guy even got a move
Mm.
out of like Inter.
From Inter. maybe PSG don't want to take the risk of signing another top class Inter striker turning out to be very
perhaps. But Lukaku's still a little bit more
of course.
proven than
Of course.
Icardi.
But I don't think Lukaku should move to England or Spain. I would, you know what? I wouldn't think a move to Barcelona would be bad for him. But especially now since they've got Depay and Aguero, there's just no place for him. Right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any place for any player
Yeah.
to come to Barcelona right now, until like for the next year. I would say.
Yeah.
I think they've done their transfer business.
They,
Now they just gotta balance their books.
I think Barcelona, if you're a player who wants to play for Barcelona, you really need to consider your move. Maybe wait 2 years for them to get rid of the older senior players so that younger players, the squad starts improving and then join. Right now, it's just not an exciting project.
Yeah, if you're like an up and coming professional footballer,
Mhm.
you should probably be watching the 6 League podcast. And on that note,
As you're running on the treadmill, just, have this playing on Spotify.
on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Podcast Index, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and virtually just everywhere.
Everywhere.
And on that note, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what are your thoughts about the current moves in the transfer market in the top 5 leagues. And you can follow us in the 6th league, what's happening and what's our take. Bye.